Hey guys, today we're going to be using Pythagorean theorem to find the missing legs or the hypotenuse. So remember that Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where a is the smallest side, b is the medium side, and then c is the hypotenuse or the longest side. Okay? So we're going to look at number 1. So you should know that across from the right angle is always the hypotenuse. So this 11.6 and this 11.9, that's going to be those are going to be my legs. I need to break out my calculator here because I'm not going to be able to do that in my head. So what I'm going to do is my shortest side, so 11.6, I'm going to write that. 11.6 squared plus 11.9 squared equals c squared. Okay, so now I'm going to get a pencil actually in case I mess up here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 11.6 squared. So 11.6 squared is, and I'm going to write the answer right below it. So 134.56 plus 11.9 squared equals 141.61 equals c squared. So then I'm going to combine like terms. So on this side I can combine these two numbers since they're the same, like they're just numbers. So I'm going to do 134.56 plus 141.61 equals, so I get 276.17 equals c squared. So now what I need to do is I need to get c by itself. So on the same side of the c I have this squared. So to undo squared, I do the square root of both sides, okay? So I'm going to be left with just c on this side, and then I'm going to do on my calculator the square root of 276.17 equals, and then we're going to round to the nearest tenth because that's what it tells to do in the directions. So when I did that, I got this on my calculator, so I'm just going to round this to the nearest tenth. So 16.6, and then that 1 tells me to keep it just as the 6. So this is going to be 16.6. Okay, I'm going to just jump down to number 3 because number 3 is a little bit different. So in number 3, across from the right angle is the hypotenuse, and the hypotenuse is always c. So I'm going to start by just putting equals 10.7 squared. So then this looks like my shortest side, so I'm going to put that at the front, 4.4 squared equals, and then, oh sorry, that's not equals, there should be a plus my b squared, and that's what this is, b. Okay? So now I work out what I can. So I have 4.4 squared, I can do that. So that equals 19.36. So underneath there I'm going to do 19.36 plus b squared equals, and then 10.7 squared is 114.49. Okay? So now this one's a little more challenging. When you're trying to find a leg, it's a little more challenging because it's a two-step equation. So we need to get b by itself. So b, on the same side as b, we have this squared, but we also have this 19.36. We need to get rid of this 19.36 first, so we're going to minus 19.36 from both sides. So these cancel, and I'm left with b squared equals, and then minus 19.36 equals, that should be 95.13. Then, to get rid of the squared, we take the square root of both sides, and we get b equals, and then the square root of 95.13 equals 9. We'll call it 9.8. All right. So I'm back. We will do number 5 next. So first I'm going to start by labeling these. This looks like my shortest side, so I'm going to label that A. And then we've got our medium side, and then our hypotenuse is straight across from our right angle. So we can start solving here. So A squared plus this side is our B, so we'll do 11.6 squared equals, and then our hypotenuse there, 12.6 squared. Alright, so on our calculator, we're going to do what we can. So 11.6 squared equals 134.56, and that A squared just stays, and then 12.6 squared is 158.76. Alright, so since we're finding a leg, it's going to be a two-step equation. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to subtract this 134.56 from both sides. So these ones will cancel. I'll be left with A squared equals, and then we have 158.76 minus 134.56, and that is 24.2. I will pause again now. What?
Skype with somebody or something?
No, I'm making a video for our notes. Classroom kind of thing.
I just wanted to let you know that mail showed up. Clarabelle said all of her conferences are going to be in the 6 radio line.
Oh, okay.
So if somebody comes looking at your door for that, that's the phone.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Sorry.
Thanks. No, it's okay.
I will not do it again.
All right. And then A by itself, we do the square root of both sides, and that gets rid of the squared, so we get A equals, and then the square root of 24.2 is 4.91. So they say to round to the nearest tenth, so we're going to leave it as 4.9. Okay? We'll go down to number 7. We'll just keep going down the left side here. So across from the right angle is our hypotenuse. So I know that's going to be 13.7 squared. And then I'm not sure if that's A or B. They look pretty similar in size, so we'll just call that one A. So A squared plus 10.3 squared equals that. So then we figure out what we know. We have 10.3 squared equals 106.09. And then we've got 13.7 squared equals 187.69. And then that A squared just stays out front. Okay? So then, since we're finding a leg, it's a two-step equation. We're going to start by minusing this 106.09 from both sides. These cancel. I'm left with A squared equals 187.69 minus 106.09 equals 81.6. And then we still have this squared, so we got to do the square root. We get A equals, and the square root, ooh, that's not square root, square root of 81.6 equals, and it looks like it's, we'll leave it as just 9. And then we'll do number 9, and this will be our last example. So across from the right angle is our hypotenuse, so we know that's C. So then we'll start at our smallest. So A is 5.4 squared plus 8.4 squared equals C squared. So then we'll just solve what we know. 5.4 squared equals 29.16 plus, and then 8.4 squared equals 70.56, and that's going to equal C squared. So then we combine our like terms. So 70.56 plus 29.16 equals, so we get 99.72 on this side equals C squared. And then to get C by itself, we're going to do the square root of both sides. So square root over here, square root over here. We get C on this side, and then the square root of 99.72 is going to be right around 10. So we'll call that 9.99. Okay, that's it, guys. Thank you.